car's going on YouTube, so probably look the exact same I did in the last video. Probably looks familiar to where I was in the last video. That's because I'm shooting this right after the other video. One thing I wanted to talk about, I've had this car for about a year. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I hate about the car, some of the things I love about it, and what I recommend it as a car. So, I've owned plenty of cars in the past. I've probably owned, in the past 10 years, I've probably owned 8 or 10 cars. Just different things I wanted to try that were different, and I just made some decisions in life to try different things, try different cars. I don't want to be stuck with one car that I hate or anything like that. So, one of the things, it's kind of the elephant in the room. A lot of people want to say, hey, the FRS A6 BRZ is a slow car, it's a terrible car. And, I'm not going to be, I don't want to beat a dead horse. They're not the fastest thing on the lot. They're certainly not the slowest. I've owned slower cars. I've also owned faster cars. One of the things that I can say is the handling is absolutely superb. One of the best handling cars I've driven. I've driven WRXs, STIs, Evos, GTIs, Mazda Speeds. I've driven other Scion vehicles. I'm sure there's probably some other ones in there I'm missing. But space, for example, the 15 through, I guess, 2021 current gen WRX, driven those. They're not as comfortable for me in terms of size. I'm probably I'm larger than your average person, but overall I have plenty of headroom. My knees are comfortable. The seats, on the other hand, they're not. That's one of the things that I really don't like. The seats look good, but they're not super comfortable. They definitely, after a few hours of driving, they do get uncomfortable. So I'm going to go with, the seats. Definitely one thing that I think they could improve on. Number 2 on things that I don't like about the car is going to be, it's actually for my passengers. There's no handle on the passenger side for them to grab. There's no grab handle. If you're spirited driving with someone in the car, then they may not like not having anything to hold on to while they're driving or while you're driving. Kind of a minor thing. Another thing that I don't like is the lack of a center console. I find it hard on longer trips to stay comfortable with both hands on the steering wheel without something to rest my arm on. They make some OEM options, but I think the OEM armrest is like $100 or $150. There's some other options. There's some off of eBay you can get, but they don't quite come up as high as I'd like. And as far as I know, there is one other armrest that Toyota makes for it that comes up higher as slides, but last time I saw a price, it was like $220, which is kind of steep, really, for what you're getting. This would be the 4th thing that I don't like, is it kind of goes with the center console. I It depends on what your use for it is. If you're dailying it, you can daily it fine. You can live with it. It's not a big deal there. If you're, if you have a family, unless you have like a family vehicle, it may not be the best choice for you to use it. And, also, are you planning on tracking it? Because a lot of people track these. They're nice to track. At least from what I understand, I haven't tracked mine. But the balance is great. The handling is great. I can see where it would be, absolutely fantastic to do that. Are you looking to, do a wide body on it, slam it? You can do that. There's plenty of aftermarket. So when it comes to aftermarket parts, if that's your thing, I enjoy it. I'm more of a OEM plus type person. But if you're into doing crazy builds, there's plenty of aftermarket support for it, so you wouldn't get bored with that. Forced induction for performance. Eventually, I'd like to boost it. Right now, it's not feasible for me to boost this. I've just got other stuff going on in my life that, kind of, to me, that's a little more important, as well as I just have other obligations. So eventually I'll boost it, but not right now. So if you're going to track the car, it's a great track car. If you're going to daily it, it's great daily. If you're looking to build a car to drag race, unless you have money for 2J swaps and doing a rear end, and you just have money to blow, I definitely wouldn't recommend it for that. Might as well go ahead and start with a Mustang or a Camaro or a Vet or something like that. If you want to drift, I'm sure you can drift these just fine. People do. It's not what I'm going for. Granted, it'd still be fun to do, but I'd rather just build a nice little autocross car and be done with it. So overall, I recommend it. I guess I'm kind of biased because I've owned one, and I remember test driving these when they first came out and fell in love with it then. But I recommend it. I do plan on as well doing a video of top 5 cars that I recommend as starter cars, and if you want to get into building cars or doing anything like that. So definitely, once I get that up, we'll probably do that here in the next couple months. May do it sooner. I do have a pretty. I'm still trying to get an upload schedule together. I have some content I'm slowly rolling out of some old motorcycle videos with me and my friends back from 2015. So once I'll slowly roll those out, and I'll be putting in FRS content or driving content and kind of vlogging a little bit, kind of in there until I have some more